All right, so tonight we are going to do an eBay unboxing. And this is the item I did a video recently telling you how I screwed myself by thinking this was an antique, and how you too, if you're an antique collector, can sort of get tricked into thinking something is antique. Now, it was not the seller's fault. The seller did not actually list it as an antique, just said basically it's a this, without wording it as vintage or antique. And then I found out, well, you are a dummy for buying it because it's a fake. And I'll show you, let's just look at it actually, and I'll show you why it's a fake. So this was basically a $96.35 lesson. The item was $65. By the time we got done with shipping and tax, yeah, almost $100 down the drain. For my own stupidity, because the reason why was because I thought it was what is known as a sleeper. I thought it was a rare item that actually was worth way more than it was. It was just listed. I jumped on it really quick. I actually offered the seller $20 less than their buy it now price. I asked them, a question in their area where you can send the seller a comment, and the seller accepted, and I was doing the happy dance thinking I got myself something worth several $100s. And it turns out I sort of screwed myself by jumping into it too quickly without doing my research first. And it happens to all of us. Every single one of us that collects antiques burns our own selves every so often. This box is like bulletproof, and I'll be back. Now, if you haven't already seen my video, how I found out that this was not antique, by the way, it was not marked as antique. So you can't really blame the seller. It does not say anything about antique in here. So, you know what I mean? But I'm going to show you how I found out that this was a fake. Now, generally, these antique pull toy horses sell for several $100s, if not more. And so what I did was, after I bought it, which I'm a real moron because I should have just did it right away. But I was afraid somebody, see, greed always gets you, right? Greed is not good. I wanted to just get it as fast as I could before somebody else snatched up my sleeper, which turned out not to be a sleeper. So you right click and you click search image with Google Lens. Watch this. Okay. And this is how I found out. Aha. The first item that pops up, I click on that. Now, the seller is located in Ohio. I found out she bought it for $30. It's a pull horse by a company by the name of Ragan of Bolivar, Ohio. In the pictures that I looked at, there we go. This is the auction house's pictures. On the very bottom was a mark that says Ragan House, Bolivar, Ohio. I looked up Ragan House, Bolivar, Ohio, and guess what I found out? I found out that apparently they make reproductions and replicas of antiques. And yeah, so that mark actually is a telltale sign of what a moron I am. And I should have just did my research like a good little girl. And I am a very, very, very good detective. And if I would have only did what I was supposed to do, I would not be dealing with this crap right now. Okay, so this is the same exact horse with the same damage areas. What the seller did was she distressed the saddle. And I'm going to show you this. See how the saddle's like one color? She must have took sandpaper to make it look old and scuffed it up. And yeah, it's definitely the same seller. Okay, this was an auction house in Ohio back in 2020. Paid $30 for it. And here, I'm going to show you another thing. Hold on. Let's get this. Seller located in Ohio. Okay, so she bought this item from that auction house. And I'm going to show you what she did. So here is the item. Okay, it's the same one that we saw at the auction house. She distressed the saddle. You can see that right there to make it look old. But she did not mark it as antique. So you can't make any accusatory things, if you know what I mean. But when we flip this horse upside down, that mark we just saw that said Ragan House is gone. And let me try to show you. By the way, the horse falls out of the little wooden plank, so I have to lift it up. And if you look completely under here, she actually took that label off, and it's actually gone. So what we have here is somebody that was trying to fool a person like me who looked for sleepers, if you know what I mean. She was slick. She knew by doing what she did, someone's going to immediately think, oh, wow, this is an antique, and pay a lot of money for it. Now, she was kind enough to take $20 off for it for me, but, you know, I can sort of be an ass, an a-hole, and I can complain and say, oh, not as described, or, you know, come up with some kind of way where she'd have to return my item and pay the return shipping. But I don't want to be that much of an ass because you know what? It's my mistake. Yes, you know what I'm saying? You never assume. It always makes an ass out of you and me. And I was taught that in grade school. Okay, so here's another telltale sign that you have a fake. If you're looking for an antique, if you ever in your life see, hold on, a Phillips head screw, you see right in the center of that wheel, it is not antique. So a lot of antique fakes have Phillips head screws in it. So now you know, all right? So never, ever, ever be too overzealous when buying antiques. If you see something you think is really rare and very old and very, very valuable, don't jump on it like I did without doing a little research first. Now, if you don't act quick enough and the thing is really a good score, somebody else may jump on it ahead of you, but that's life. Now, I'm stuck with a $96 item that I can't even resell. I mean, it's a little bit, you know, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but this looks really, really, really authentic. Down to the wear, look at the wear patterns, down to the distressing of the saddle, down to this platform, looks very, very old and folksy. The hardware on the saddle looks very, very old and distressed and, you know, tarnished and worn. The tack, again, she must have sandpapered that to give that a very, very old look. Even the glass eyes are quite good for an antique replica. The mouth is distressed on the muzzle. And yeah, this is not cool. This is actually still quite beautiful. I can actually put an antique doll on top of it, sitting on top of the horse. It would make a nice display, a nice prop. Let's just see if the wheels even work. I'm going to pull the horse to me. Come on, Mr. Ed. Come on down. The wheels aren't very, very good. Whoever made this, you know, did a bang-up job, if you know what I mean. Here, let's check out the other side. There you go. Honestly, if I wouldn't have seen what I saw, I'll be completely honest, and I've been collecting antiques for over a good 21 years. If I didn't see what I saw with the Google imaging, like I showed you with the right click, and seen this auction where this same item sold, I would have actually been fooled. I would have actually thought this was definitely an antique pull horse. So you can really get fooled out there. And yes, it happens to me too. You know, I do videos all the time showing you antiques, and you pretty much think I must be an expert. Not an expert. I'm a human being who makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. So be careful out there. Always, always, always do your homework. Do your research. Don't jump on something unless you know 110% it to be antique, it to be authentic, it not to be faked. And yeah, the seller did, you know what I mean? She took that label off. She gave you that sort of feeling like, oh, this is an antique. But she really didn't. So, you know, there's no accusatory things in here. I can't sit here and accuse. But there you go. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. I really, really, really think this is a beautiful looking horse. Honestly, I mean, this looks pretty darn good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long. And yeah, this guy is actually heading out to pasture right now. Or the glue factory, actually.